Hi guys. So the Trump assassination, there's a few things to talk about. Number one, apparently there was a big flag above Trump's head somewhere, which is supposedly a problem because it's a wind indicator for potential snipers, and you shouldn't really have that, which is suspicious for some people, but I think that that's happened at quite a few Trump rallies before, although it's hard to find. But I think that's happened before, so I don't know if it's a big deal. Also, people are talking about the snipers, the counter snipers behind Trump on the roof. I don't know really what to make of that. I don't know if that's a big deal because they might have been looking for the guy, but I don't think he was that easy to spot. Like, he wasn't. It would have just been his head and the gun, I guess. And also, if you're looking through a scope, it might not be. If it's very magnified, it's not that easy to find him necessarily. So I don't know if there's anything there really. It's plausible that they just didn't see the guy, or couldn't find the guy, or maybe they saw him, but there was confusion because they didn't want to shoot, thinking he might be some local law enforcement guy on top of the roof. You don't want to shoot some other cop guy. But there are some things that are a bit weird. First is you're supposed to secure the perimeter before the rally, and there is a few buildings around. There's two more buildings off to the right here, and this one near the lake there as well. So there's a few buildings around, but this complex of buildings is probably the closest and most likely that someone would sit there with a sniper. So you'd think that they should have a guy there. If they don't have enough Secret Service, then you put a local law enforcement guy on there. But they probably did have enough Secret Service. I saw Trump's motorcade there's like at least 10 cars in his motorcade. So that's just strange. They just didn't have anyone on any of these roofs over here. So that's very odd. Another odd thing is that we know the people in the crowd all spotted him. There's lots of video footage of people doing interviews and saying they talked to police. They saw this guy going up the ladder, bear crawling on the roof. There's footage of this guy lying on the roof 2 minutes before he shoots. These guys are trying to get the attention of law enforcement and everything, and I can understand why they didn't shoot the guy, because maybe there's lots of different agencies working at the rally, and they don't want to shoot someone from another agency. They're not sure if he's their guy or not. But it's pretty clear that you would evacuate the stage if there's something like that. These police all have radios. They can radio into Secret Service on the stage. They got 2 minutes. It's not that much time, and cops aren't the smartest guys going around. But that's pretty negligent. So you have 2 instances of serious incompetence, and Trump is like the most famous guy in the world. He's one of the most divisive and hated guys in the world, and everyone's got a gun in America. You'd think that security would be onto this. It's pretty unbelievable that the guy was just he walked up. Apparently he just walked up there. He's in camo pants and he's got his rifle. And also another thing was that there was a ladder he climbed just a freestanding ladder. It wasn't like stuck to the building or anything. So it must have been, I don't think the guy walked up with a ladder, so it must have been put there the day before or something. I don't know. How did that not get checked in the perimeter sweep? Really weird. So it's pretty unbelievable that he wasn't even allowed to get shots off. And then you also can figure that, are they this lax with security at every single rally? And you would have to assume that they're probably not. I would just assume that they cover everything, most rallies, right? It's a Secret Service. And it's like one of the few times that their security is presumably not up to scratch. One of the few times that happens, there's also a gunman. That's just too big a coincidence. I just can't really believe that. I can't believe that it was a lone gunman, that he just some random guy decided to, find out where Trump was having a rally and pick a good spot and then just walk up there with his gun and then, hey, look, people are just letting me take shots at the president. That's just, I don't believe that. Oh, here's the ladder. So you can see it's leaning against it. So it's just a freestanding ladder. Who put that there? Where did that come from? This photo, apparently, of the bullet, I don't know if it's real or not. I've heard that it might not be real, and I don't think it is real, because apparently you need a high-speed camera to take a photo of it like this. And why would you have your camera on that setting? And also the trajectory, the line of the bullet, to me, doesn't really seem like it's hitting the top of his ear. So to me, I don't think that's a real photo, but I'm not sure. So where are we? This is the shooter. And this guy seems like the perfect patsy. I saw Andrew Anglin write that, and I would have to agree. It's like mentally unstable, sort of bragged about owning guns and practicing with his guns. Perfect patsy that... Let's have a look. I'll show you. This is Brian Berletic with New Atlas. It's a good YouTube channel.
If security lapses were intentional, if, that's a big if it turns out these security lapses were intentional, I wouldn't be surprised if he was approached by someone like the FBI, walked through the whole process like many subpar terror suspects the FBI has trained, given weapons, explosives to, often arresting them at the last moment, but once in a while accidentally failing to do so before a live attack. And I show an image of an FBI affidavit, Oregon resident arrested in plot to bomb Christmas tree lighting ceremony in Paul. Actually, this is not the affidavit. This is just a press release from the official FBI website. And so I remember this because I covered this extensively. This was in 2010. It was the Christmas tree bomber in Portland, Oregon. The mayor of Portland refused to join the joint terrorist task force that the FBI had set up. So the FBI engineered this terror attack to humiliate him and force him to join the joint task force. And so what happened was they approached this mentally unstable individual. They walked him through the whole process. And if you read this press release, the FBI themselves admit Mohammed and the undercover FBI operatives traveled to a remote location in Lincoln County, Oregon, where they detonated a bomb concealed in a backpack as a trial run. So they were training this individual to use real explosives. They actually used real explosives in trial runs. And they gave him an explosive, and they helped him put it into a van, and he drove this van to the Christmas tree lighting ceremony. And then they foiled their own attack, basically, that the FBI engineered right before it went live. And then they said, see, we told you, you need us. You need to join this joint task force. And of course, the mayor capitulated and joined the FBI task force. The moral of this story is that the FBI isn't there to prevent terrorism. Often the FBI is the chief perpetrator of terrorism. They engineer entire terrorist attacks, and every once in a while, these individuals that they're instructing and arming sometimes go off the rails. Every once in a while, it almost seems like the FBI did it on purpose, a false flag attack, if you will. People might remember this all the way from 1993. New York Times bomb informers' tapes give rare glimpse of FBI dealings. If you read this article and then you listen to the tapes of this Egyptian military officer who knowingly served as an informant to the FBI, he was helping these terror suspects build a live bomb under the instruction and with the assistance of the FBI. They were supposed to foil the bombing before it happened. But as we all know, the bombing went live. The bomb detonated, people were killed. There was significant damage to the World Trade Center. It was cited as an example of a growing terrorist problem, but from A to Z, it was an FBI operation. It was a sting operation, entrapment, some people would call it. And this informant, after he released these tapes to the New York Times, and they were published, after we heard these tapes, he went into the witness protection program. We never heard from him again. He's most likely dead. They probably killed him for revealing what happened. Luckily for the FBI, the corporate media is completely in on it.
So that was the 1993 World Trade Center bombing, which was heavy FBI involvement. And then also you have the 9/11 bombing, which took down the same tower, one of the same towers. And apparently this guy, Ali Muhammad, was one of Al-Qaeda's top trainers in terrorism, and he was a known operative for FBI, CIA, and the army. And I'm pretty sure the CIA was involved with JFK as well. So it's like, it just seems sort of like one of those things, right? Now, the other day I made a video saying that the liberal international order, or the rules-based order, so they call themselves this, they fully admit this, Western nations are trying to gear up for war with Russia or China or possibly Iran. And the theory was that they're going to convince white male conservatives to fight for America again, because they've lost interest, they've lost motivation, numbers in the army are down, they don't trust the media, they don't trust the government, blah, blah, blah. So that was the theory. And I thought it was an alright theory. It's not my theory, I got it from 4chan. And I thought it was an alright theory. This is Andrew Anglin, a Daily Stormer, because there were some suspicious things going on. I don't know if Elon Musk's takeover of Twitter was in that or not. I'm not making a judgment call on that. Julian Assange going free was a bit suspicious. Ryan Dawson himself said that he did not see that coming at all. Well, no, he said that that didn't look likely at all. And he would know. He's into that stuff. And you have all the right-wing resurgence in European parties, in France a bit. They didn't get it in, but they probably will maybe next election, in the presidential election. That was just for prime minister or something. And in Germany and in Holland. I don't know what's going on in England. So things like this. And then for me, what really convinced me was the media, how they dealt with Biden. They just clearly, to me, completely turned on him and threw him under the bus in just a very obvious way, where previously they'd just been completely on his side, covering for him no matter what. And there was only two options for that: or they wanted to change Biden for another Democrat who might win the election, or they wanted Trump to get in, and then they got the memo that they need to maybe start being more fair or something. I don't know what goes on behind closed doors. And I just didn't think that they wanted Biden to be replaced. I didn't think that they would think that's a good strategy. I don't think it is a good strategy. How that theory of convincing conservatives to join the army, how that lines up with this Trump assassination, I really don't know. It's just a bit of a clusterfuck. Andrew Anglin seems to think that. What are you saying? So he thinks this was a fake assassination attempt in order to, spur on the conservatives and have them all rise up and motivate them. And I'm just not sure. I mean, the assassination attempt was real. Like, that kid was trying to kill Trump. I'm absolutely convinced of that. But there was obviously some foul play going on. There's definitely something fishy with Secret Service, or someone was doing something, allowing him to get there, and then no evacuation of the stage. So it's like, I just don't know how to reconcile that. There's too many different. Is it He's the top of his ear, so I don't think the picture was right. It's like, did the FBI somehow allow this guy to get in, and then if he killed Trump, they were fine with that, and if he didn't kill Trump, they were also fine with that because it would spur on conservatives? I don't know. It's all pretty speculative. I really just don't know. But I don't think he was a lone gunman either. It's just bizarre. I don't know. But I suppose the end result is the same. Conservatives will be much more motivated, and Trump is going to win in a landslide. I already thought he was going to win in something of a landslide, and now his victory is going to be like even bigger than Reagan's victory. So, I mean, Andrew Anglin says Trump is going to get everyone to go to war, which I thought was the plan. But just because that was the plan doesn't mean they're actually going to go to war. I still don't think Trump is going to get people to go to war, even after that iconic photo of him fist pumping. Although there's pretty insane optics to have the most famous person in the world easily become even more famous because there was an assassination attempt. But not just an assassination attempt. It was an assassination attempt live on national TV. I mean, that's just, we've never had that before. Like Adolf Hitler, there was an assassination attempt on him and Reagan, but we don't have actual footage of this happening. And the blood in the ear, just insane. But I still don't think Americans are going to go to war. It's just not going to happen, I don't think. Even if Trump would try, or even if the deep state would try, no way. But my guess was right about the VP pick, J.D. Vance. Apparently he's vice president now. I didn't realize J.D. Vance was a former Marine. If I realized that, I would have been even a bit more sure. But I wasn't that sure, but that would have been my bet. But yeah, he's young. He's a man. He was in the army. So I would have picked him for sure. And that's about all. I don't really have any strong conclusions. I don't know what to make of it yet.